Hello everyone, this is Chelsea from Those with Words. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to talk to you about this beautiful black traveler's notebook. So this is a brand new traveler's notebook that I got to customize all parts of through Superior Labor Kurashiki. So Kurashiki is, it took about half an hour to get to from the bigger city Okayama station. And it is in West Japan, and that is where Superior Labor, or TSL, the Superior Labor, has their own shop. And on the second floor, they have a custom traveler's notebook area where they officially partner with the Traveler's Company, who makes these leather notebook covers, to create these beautiful custom pieces. So far, as of April 2023, when I'm recording this video, as of right now, I believe they are the only authorized, official customization service through Traveler's Company. So, Traveler's Company and the Superior Labor partner directly with each other to make this happen. So I just wanted to get into a little bit more detail about how I customized this Traveler's Notebook. I know a lot of people had questions about it, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and hopefully I'll be able to insert a couple photos as I'm talking through this, because right now I'm just kind of waving my hands around. So actually, let me just show you this traveler's notebook first, and then you can have something more interesting to look at while I am chatting to you about it. So here is the full design. So basically, the second floor, like I said, of the Superior Labor Kurashiki, the store, has a little area off to the corner, dedicated to customizing the traveler's notebooks. So first, you have to buy a new traveler's notebook to customize it. So they will not customize existing traveler's notebooks for you. You do have to purchase one. In my case, I ended up choosing the black TN because I don't actually have one in my collection. I was originally going to buy the camel traveler's notebook because the camel traveler's notebook is the only one that comes with black stamping. And all of the other ones, so the brown, the blue, and black, so all of the standard colors, have white stamping just by default. So I wanted to get the camel one at first, but they were out of camel standard sized, regular size traveler's notebooks. And so I decided to go with this one. And so I picked all of these elements myself. All of these are out in the open for you to try. They also have separate notebooks dedicated to different custom options, so you can spark some ideas and kind of get going. But the staff there who worked with me, they gave me plenty of time to think about all of these options and for me to really think carefully about what I wanted to do. I think the person who helped me could kind of tell that I was a little bit flustered, because I was oh, I really wanted the camel one, but now I have to rethink the whole process. So I told her that through my translation app. I was oh, I wanted a camel, but since it's out of stock, I need to, rethink some things. So just please give me a little bit more time. Thank you so much, kind of thing. And they actually wrote back on the translation app of their own, think slowly, take your time. So they were really, really kind and understanding. So yeah, they have all these stamps out as well, available for you to kind of position it and play around with how you would want your traveler's notebook customized. So every single piece on here, I keep mentioning, I chose. So this stamp, this TSL Kurashiki on the trip stamp, I really wanted that sort of front and center on the traveler's notebook. So this is one I picked. And then the only other stamp I went with was this round traveler's notebook Kurashiki. I just wanted more unique Kurashiki stamps, and they had a lot of options, but these are the two that I wanted. And I've seen this customization before where someone had put this round stamp right in the middle. so that the hole here that you use for either the elastic band or in my case the side closure is like right in the middle of this stamp. And I had seen that on the Superior Labor Kurashiki's Instagram, which I believe is TSL Store. I'll leave that in the description below. So I got inspired by that and decided to kind of like follow that person's customization option. So that's what I did. Another thing I was very much inspired by was the side closure. So like I was showing you earlier, there is a side closure option. So instead of the elastic that the traditional traveler's notebook comes with, I decided to try this like side closure mechanic, which I thought was really, really cool. And you basically pull this leather string and then you pull it through like this little conch that you can pick. And there are different designs available for this too, but I decided to go ahead with this like smaller one. There was a bigger one that would have kind of taken up about this much space, I would say, but I liked this small one. I thought it was a little more understated, so I decided to go with that one. And then while I have this up, I also wanted to show you these like little beads, and I'm really hoping the camera can catch and focus on these, but I chose these three specifically as well, and the leather string. So I chose the black leather string and these three beads that I thought went really well with the overall scheme of like my customization. So there's that yellow bead with black stripes, the black bead with white stripes, and then in the middle there is like a small brass bead that I thought went well with this. So that is kind of why I chose that side closure and like all of the different little beads that came with it. I will say that each and every single one of those beads also cost something. So pretty much like every element of this, as much as it is customizable, like the stamp will cost you, the fact that they're stamping it for you, because I personally did not want to do it myself. I didn't want to mess up anything. So the stamping process itself costs you a little bit of money, like this, this patch in particular. Also, this was really special. This was, I believe, a special patch that they had ready for their first year anniversary of the store at TSL Kurashiki. So they had this turtle one, this like green with brown embroidery and everything, and the Superior Labor in yellow. They had another one that was a crane that was a little bit more of like a blue and red color scheme. But I decided to go ahead and choose this one because I really, really enjoy green and brown. And at first I was a little bit, cautious about how this would look on a black traveler's notebook. But again, they have everything out and available. So you can just like put it against the TN and kind of imagine what it would look like. And it was a very visual process, I would say. It was really, really interesting. And another thing that I want to show you is the inside. So if you're curious about how the stitching looks, hopefully it is capturing that on camera. It's a little bit difficult because this is a black traveler's notebook, so I feel like the black stitching just melds inside or like melts inside this traveler's notebook, so it's a little hard to see, but hopefully the camera is catching some of that at least for you. And then this is what the side closure looks like on the inside. So it's got a little like leather circle to it, and then they tie the string inside, so of course like it doesn't come off. And then I think this is sort of I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of like puncturing the leather as well. And then on this side too, because I chose not to use the elastic and I chose to go with a side closure, they also did the same thing here with a little leather circle and then a little knot at the end. And then I totally forgot to mention this part, which is one of their newer like brass plates that they had available. And this one just says Superior Labor Kurashiki Store. And this is one of their like logos that they created for the store. And I thought it was so unique. I initially wanted to use it as like a charm across the front, but then I quickly realized I'm doing a side closure, so that means I can't really use a charm on the front. So I decided to have it sewn on the back of the traveler's notebook instead. So there is that, and then this is what the stitching and finish looks like in the back. Very clean. I don't think it, it doesn't really bother me at all. even though it does stick out a tiny bit. So there is that from just like a finished standpoint. And then I also wanted to show you the inside. I already have my weekly in here, so that's why you're seeing this. This is my own insert of like my weekly memory keeping that I'm doing. So you're just seeing that as part of the cover. But this is a separate, so let me show you. I can just take it out now, actually. So this is a separate leather insert that I got as part of the customization. And so I got, there are different pockets. So I chose a secretarial pocket on the right-hand side, and then I chose this slightly curved, like, so it makes for an easier opening when you're taking things in and out of this folder. So I chose this pocket on the left side. And then on each of those pockets, I chose to get a stamp. So this is another one of their unique logo stamps to TSL Kurashiki. And then here's this one as well. This is the same one on the brass charm right here. So hopefully you can see that together. It's the exact same design, but one is a stamp and then one is a brass charm. So I chose to have these two pockets sewn onto a like separate leather piece, as you can see here. And then the back of this leather piece is actually kind of not completely raw, I would say, but I'm not a leather expert, so I'm probably not getting this right, but obviously it's a different texture than the inside, so that's something to note. I also chose to go with all black. They had other colors available. I believe they had brown and natural leather available, so all of these things can be done on different types of leather and colors, or I should say different colors of leather that they have available at the store. I just decided to go with all black to just like match the traveler's notebook. So yeah, that was the customization. And what I really like about this actually is they have these like little slits here on the top and bottom, so that when it's sitting against this inside elastic inside of the traveler's notebook, it knows where to kind of like sit a little bit better. I find that sometimes with these types of leather inserts, if it doesn't have this like tiny little bit cut out and designed purposefully, that these kinds of inserts can like slide around and sometimes like end up way too much on the left side or like way too much on the right side. And with this one, because of this design, it doesn't do that, which I really, really enjoy. And another thing that I briefly mentioned, I think, when I first showed this on my Japan stationery haul, is they actually asked me if I wanted to have these pockets sewn onto the traveler's notebook directly, or if I wanted to, pay more to have it sewn onto a separate leather piece like this. And I personally chose this option because I wanted to be able to remove this and use it for my other traveler's company covers in the future, like my other traveler's notebooks. I thought it would be a little bit more versatile that way. Of course, if you want it directly sewn onto the traveler's notebook, that is possible as well. I just wanted to mention that. So as I'm putting this back into the traveler's notebook, I can get into a little bit more about the details of like the timeline. So for me, when I got to Kurashiki, I only spent a night there, actually. So I spent Friday and Saturday there in Kurashiki, and I basically beelined to not Traveler's Company, to the Superior Labor Kurashiki pretty much as soon as I got there. And for me, I happened to get to the store when it actually wasn't super busy. So they just happened to have like a little bit more time, I think, when I went there. And so when I got there and I got through the customization process, I would say I spent a good at least 30 minutes. I think it was close to like 45 minutes deciding on a lot of these like customization options. And by the time I was done, they actually let me know it was about, I think, like 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and they let me know that they would be able to finish it within the day and that I could come back around 5 p.m. to pick it up. And their closing hours for the day were 6 o'clock. So I think it worked out really well for me. I do know that if they're a little bit busier, they will ask if you are free the next day to pick up the traveler's notebook. And I believe if they are not able to do it even within the next day, that they are willing to work with you to ship your custom TN to a preferred address. So they can either ship it to a hotel within Japan that you're staying at, different locations all over Japan. Of course, understanding that like you may be going to other places other than just Kurashiki if you're a visitor. And I do think that they are able to ship to your home address as well. You would obviously have to figure out the shipping and everything, but I do think that is an option. So just wanted to say also a big thank you to Esther Molina, who helped me out with this process by asking the Superior Labor Kurashiki staff about how this customization process exactly works. As you can imagine, I had 1 night and 2 days in Kurashiki, so not a lot of time. And so I wanted to experience this myself, but I was also not super clear on like how that would work out. I did exchange a couple of emails with the TSL Kurashiki staff, and they were super nice, but obviously I think there's a language barrier there. And so my specific questions that I wasn't quite able to like convey very well to them, I don't think we were able to like reach a consensus or kind of come to a mutual understanding as easily. And so I did reach out to Esther, who helped me out. So really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super helpful information. And yeah, I just got really lucky in the sense that I got there. They just didn't happen to be super busy that day, so they were able to customize this for me on the same day. And that is pretty much it in terms of the story of how this came together. I will say the biggest surprise for me is that I actually really enjoy this traveler's notebook. I haven't really had a black traveler's notebook, and one of the only reasons for that is I've read and heard from various friends and people who have black traveler's notebooks that it doesn't actually scratch super well or like super often. So it's a more, I don't know, like maybe it's the batch or the color of leather or something, but it actually doesn't scratch up as often. And for me personally, I really love and enjoy a well scratched up and loved traveler's notebook like that patina. I really love that. And I haven't heard of like too many black traveler's notebooks being patinaed. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. So that's why I haven't really had one before. So that's something where, I was a little bit, thrown a curveball, but I worked with the changes, and I think I really love how this turned out. It's really sleek and I enjoy it a lot. The two things that I am still working through, and I just want to be honest with you because you can probably see some of this, is this leather string here is shedding quite a bit actually. And I don't know if it's because I have like sweaty hands, hence the patina on most of my other traveler's notebooks. So that might be a me problem, but it is shedding a bit. Like as you can see here, like you can see little flecks of leather. I do have experience with other leather bookmarks and things of the like, where with time and natural use, it will get better. Just like these, flecks will fall off and it won't really do that anymore after a certain time. But this was something I didn't really expect. And so you can see it on my nails as well. So that's something I'm still working through. And then this is something that is probably unique to like a black traveler's notebook or even like a standard blue one potentially. But the inside, if you're not careful, if you have like a light, cloth, cover, or even one of those like pouches from Traveler's Company or other makers where you have like a very light colored cloth or some kind of cotton material brushing up against this black leather, the color can come off on those things. And one of the reasons that I chose this piece, and I have it sort of here, even though as you can tell, like I'm not using the pockets right now. I don't particularly need them right now because I'm home and I'm not actually carrying this out anywhere. So I'm not using it at the moment, but I'm still putting it here because I don't necessarily want the color of the black leather on the inside to come off onto the cover of my notebook. So that's also something that, you know, if you're choosing a black traveler's notebook, something you may, you know, choose to be aware of. I'm not sure if it will actually come off super easily or not. Again, I think it all depends a little bit, but I have also heard that a lot, and I tried like really brushing my hand against it when I first got this traveler's notebook, and some color did come off on my fingers. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep this inside in order for me to help with, you know, potentially like staining my inserts or like other things that are inside. So that was a conscious choice by me. So even though you're kind of like, why are the pockets empty? That is why I have this in here regardless. And I, you know, see myself using these pockets for like various ephemera and like papers and things. So I'm sure it'll come in handy, and I'm, you know, really happy that I was able to get it this way. But they are not in use at the moment because I'm just using this weekly, and I'm mostly just like keeping it at home right now. So yeah, that is the story and overview of this traveler's notebook. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed getting to hear from me on what the process was like and what the experience was like for me. Obviously, the customer service there was outstanding. That goes without saying, but I did want to mention that as well. And yeah, it was a really awesome experience. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. And I'm very much looking forward to using this TN in my everyday life. Hence why the weekly memory keeping insert is in there, so I could reach for it often. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will be back next time with either a travel journal video or the Olive release day as of recording is actually today. So I did get an Olive Passport Traveler's Notebook from Traveler's Company, so that should be coming. So we'll figure out what the next video is going to be, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to keep making videos about stationery. And I hope you all take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!